And let me tell you, in that spacesuit, that spacewalking spacesuit, 7 hours doesn't feel like 7 hours. I mean, it's like dog years out there. It's like 49. And then the ground asked me to do this job at the very end of the spacewalk that I hadn't trained for, wasn't familiar where I was going on the space station. And the space station's really big. I mean, if you put it on the ground, it would be, the size of a football field. And they asked me this question if I would do this task in a way that kind of betrayed their concern that perhaps I was too physically and, mentally drained, worn out, which I definitely was. I was completely out of gas. But being that kind of person who in the moment was afraid to appear weak or incapable, kind of afraid of failing, I convinced the ground that I was good to go. We were dark. It was dark, the dark side of the earth, right? No moon out to provide some light. Must have been over the Pacific Ocean because I couldn't even see the planet below as reference to, figure out which way was up. Even worse, I was cold. I could no longer muster the hand strength to adjust the cooling. I get turned around, upside down, don't know which way is up. I can only see what was immediately in front of my face, like a scuba diver at night, and it was completely disorienting. Basically, I'm lost on the outside of the International Space Station, and I'm physically and mentally exhausted. And after what seemed like an hour trying to figure out where I was and where I needed to go, but was probably more like 10 minutes, the Capcom and Mission Control, Megan Benkin is her name, she steps in. She had some pity on me, I guess, and she tells me, hey, just rest up, and the sun will be rising in a few minutes. So I did. I rested, closed my eyes a bit, and waited. And I'll tell you what, thank you, sun. Fortunately, once I got warmed up, got oriented, I was able to figure out where I was and get myself safely back inside. Not finishing the job, but here's my point. By not admitting to the ground that I was incapable, not being truthful to myself, I put me and my EVA crew member at risk. I had failed. Or rather, I didn't fail well because I was too proud to admit what my limits were. Because, failure isn't a binary thing. It's not fail or don't fail, win or lose, as there are different ways of failing. I wanted to be perfect, but sometimes when we expect perfection, when we demand perfection, we sometimes invite failure. I was too afraid to call it quits that day, and as a result, I made the situation much, much worse. I had failed poorly.